All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking Detroit Lions today. They've had a phenomenal offseason. I don't think too many people are talking about it right now. I know the hype within Lions fan base is extremely high. Like, even before the offseason, they finished the year beautifully. And a couple hours ago, Aaron Rodgers pretty much expressed he wants to play for the New York Jets. So, as it's looking right now, I'm just going to say it, even as a Packers fan, the Detroit Lions, NFC North, it's looking good. It's not even just the NFC North. The Detroit Lions and the NFC in general, this team is ready to make noise. We saw it in the second half of the season last year, and some of these moves they've made are amazing. Most recently, David Montgomery, the former running back for the Chicago Bears, signed a 3-year, $18 million contract to come to Detroit. I was thinking Jamal Williams was going to be back, but I got to say, I love this move. I think this is the better move, better option, and I'm extremely excited. David Montgomery played 4 years with the Chicago Bears. The worst season he had was 800 total rushing yards. The Chicago Bears offensive line has not been good for a very long time, more than 4 years, in fact. So David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift is your 1-2 punch duo. Oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. Guys, we're only a couple of days into free agency. And we're going to talk about most of the moves Detroit's made thus far. Before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I post a ton of Lions videos, so if we could try and get this video to 500 likes, that would be absolutely awesome. Also, yesterday, they re-signed John Kaminsky. He had a breakout season last year. He fits exactly what this squad is looking for, along with Alex Anzalone. All right, 3-year, 18.5, or actually $18.75 million. Beautiful contract. I'm so glad Alex Anzalone is back in a Lion uniform. That linebacker position is critical. Keep in mind, Detroit has the 6th pick and the 18th pick in this year's first draft, or in the first round of this year's draft. You also have Jameson Williams, who we didn't see too much of last year. I mean, it's looking great. And clearly, Aiden Hutchinson. That's not it, though. All right. They acquired 2 critical cornerbacks for this secondary. And when we take a look at Detroit last year, don't even look at the statistics. The only thing that was a big kind of improvement area for this defense, it wasn't even the defensive line. Yeah, you want to continue to fill in the holes. You want to build on your weaknesses, build on your strengths as well. But that secondary, while you have guys like Kirby Joseph, while you still have former 3rd pick, Jeff Okudah, the secondary could be, it was like the big flaw, right? It could be improved greatly, and that's exactly what they've done. They signed Emmanuel Mosley, the starting cornerback for the San Francisco 49ers, to a 1-year, $6 million contract. The reason that number is so low is because he was having a great start to the season, and unfortunately, about a third of the way into it, he tore his ACL, hence the 1-year, $6 million contract. I love it. It's not even really a high risk. It's like a moderately normal risk with an extremely high reward if it works out. Love it. But that wasn't the big move. On Monday, the Detroit Lions signed Cam Sutton to a 3-year, $33 million contract, which is extremely reasonable for him. He has experience playing in the slot and on the boundary. Last season, specifically with Pittsburgh, he had held quarterbacks to a 65.3 passer rating and just a 47.9 completion percentage. Cam Sutton is the real deal, and they just got a huge bolster in your secondary with Mosley and with Cam Sutton. They also re-signed cornerback Will Harris. They also re-signed defensive lineman Isaiah Buggs. But man, once again, we are only a couple of days into free agency right now, and honestly, the way things are panning out, having the 6th pick is beautiful. I get it. People try to bring up rumors of, are they going to take a quarterback? You only have X amount of time with Jared Goff. Well, Jared Goff's the real deal. All right, Jared Goff now is probably the best quarterback in the NFC North. And once again, it doesn't end just there. He's actually one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC. The NFC is not nearly as dominant as the AFC, and I see a perfect window for Detroit right now where the scariest part is they're not ahead of schedule. They're perfectly on schedule. Head coach Dan Campbell, GM Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes is continuing to finesse the NFL, and he's been doing a phenomenal job ever since he got into town. But having that sixth pick, quarterback's off the table, even if, you know, I don't even want to entertain them moving on from Jared Goff in the first round. If they're going to take a quarterback, it would be in the later rounds because, once again, not only do you have 2 first-round picks, this team in general is loaded with draft capital. I wouldn't be surprised if they took a quarterback in like the 3rd or 4th round and signed a veteran to back up Jared Goff. Wouldn't surprise me. But the reason I'm talking so much about quarterbacks is because I guarantee you that 1 through 4, although it doesn't look like it right now, there's going to be moves made. We're like 6 weeks away from the NFL draft. The first 4 picks in this year's class are going to be quarterbacks. And that gives Detroit the opportunity to take a guy like Jalen Carter. Every mock draft I'm reading right now, or at least half of them, are having Detroit take Jalen Carter at number 6. The issue with Jalen Carter is he's like 10 pounds overweight, and right now he doesn't look great. You know, obviously there's the whole arrest shenanigans going on. So maybe the Jalen Carter move is a good option. That, honestly, to me, is going to be a wait and see situation. What I'm scared of, if I'm the NFL, is letting Detroit get Will Anderson. I mean, this defensive line is just vastly improving. Jalen Carter he's probably talent-wise the best player in the league, or in the draft, I should say. Will Anderson is a stud in his own regard. This isn't the most immediate need to fill on the Lions roster, I guess you could say. But man, I'm at a loss for words, honestly, thinking about Jalen Carter or Will Anderson Jr. getting picked to Detroit. And if it's not one of those two, it's going to be Tyree Wilson, another stud pass rusher out of Texas Tech. So Detroit is either going to, with the 6th pick, because of the way the first 4 will go at least, you are going to have Tyree Wilson, Jalen Carter, or Will Anderson. It's terrifying. Shout out Matt Stafford. Shout out the Los Angeles Rams for just not having a good season last year whatsoever and giving Detroit the 6th pick, because they also have the 18th pick. And this is where you can get crafty. I've talked about it time and time again on this channel. Detroit, to me, both first-round picks should be on the defense because, yes, they're filling out the secondary. You just re-signed Alex, right? You're going to have a defensive lineman most likely taken with 6. You have Aiden Hutchinson. You have guys like James Houston, I'm extremely excited for his career. I saw a mock draft that had Myles Murphy, the defensive lineman out of Clemson, go to Detroit with pick 18. This also is a terrifying move. He is a 3-down defensive end. He is huge. He's 6'5", 275. He has pass rushing flashes. It's just another guy to have down in the trenches for this Detroit Lions defense. The Lions defense will be in the top half next year. I know that might seem like a quick turnaround, but seriously, this defense, this team in general is so talented. There's so much talent on this defensive side, and we saw it so many times in the later half of the season. Whether it was against Chicago, the final game against Green Bay, whether it was against the Jets. There was a hiccup against Carolina, so obviously things aren't perfect. But man, when you look at this defense, there are some absolute studs. You got Malcolm Rodriguez, Kirby Joseph. I am still very hopeful for Jeff Okudah. We'll wait and see with that. Aiden Hutchinson, Isaiah Buggs is back. John Kaminsky's back. Tracy Walker. I'm excited for the Lions season, and I'm a Packers fan. James Houston, 8 sacks in 7 games. He's breaking records out here. Opponent points per game, they came in 28th. That is an extremely skewed statistic because of the first 6 or so games of the season. This team is going to be really good next year. It's not going to be just next year. They're going to be really good for several years to come. And Brad Holmes has done a phenomenal job orchestrating and constructing this roster. And Dan Campbell has done it's not just Dan Campbell, but Dan Campbell and the Lions coaching staff, top to bottom, they've done a phenomenal job at developing their players, trusting their players, believing in their players. There's this culture in Detroit right now that has everybody amped up for great reasons. So that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Post Lions videos a couple of times a week, and now that it's officially free agency time, we're going to be really ramping it up. So if we can get this video to 500 likes, that would be awesome. But let me know what you guys are thinking about this Lions offseason down below. In fact, if you want to grade it, go ahead and grade it. I'm going to grade it right now. I'm going to give it, I mean, I don't think you could argue it's below a B. I'm going to give it an A minus because we're only a couple of days in and this team is not done. All right. That's it. Peace.